Alpha Mike Bravo. Contact Vancouver Center on 133.4. 133.4.
Alright guys, welcome back for part 2. We're going to finish up the cruise here, and they should be bringing us down very shortly.
Level 250. Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo. Vancouver Center, roger.
We'll just finish up our cruise, and then we'll be in for descent and landing. Should be quite fun. I cut most of the cruise out and uploaded this in 2 parts so they were in a little more manageable time sections. I know most people don't have 2 hours to just kind of chill on YouTube. Some of us get there, but wanted to make it a little shorter, more manageable segments, which is why I took out most of the cruise, or didn't record most of the cruise there. So you guys didn't miss much except for a lot of this. Checking the instruments, making sure we got fuel, yada yada. Oh look, the topo. Now the map looks amazing. Yeah, so situation currently is got ground speed of 397 knots. My word, we're hauling. We're cruising at Mach, looks like 7.39. Yeah, 25,000 feet. Got about 1,700 pounds of fuel on board. And if you missed part 1 of this series, I suggest you go watch it. It's got the cold and dark startup procedure, which is really simple in this aircraft. Take off in some rainy weather, 12-mile visibility. Doesn't take us long to get above the cloud layers, so it's a pretty fun takeoff. If you haven't seen the first part, I'd suggest go watching that and then come back to this one. But if you're here for part 2, welcome to part 2 of the Phenom 300 flight into Alaska. We're going in the southern tip of Alaska, the part of Alaska that kind of wraps around Canada. And then from there, in another series, we'll take a different airplane up into Anchorage. I have quite a few add-on aircraft, mainly from Carenado. I have, 4 from A2A? I got the 172, 182, the Cherokee 180, and the Comanche 250. I have 5. I also have the T6 Texan. So yeah, once we get up into Alaska, we're probably going to take one of those airplanes and do some bush flying around Alaska. Maybe my Carenado Seneca 5 twin piston aircraft. I got quite a few aircraft, so give me an aircraft type that you'd like to see for the next segment, and I could probably make that happen. What I mean by aircraft type is twin turboprop, or single turboprop, or single piston, twin piston. If you want to see another jet, we could do another jet. I have the Premier jet from Carenado, so if you guys want to see that jet or something, just Let me know in the comment section what's the next plane you'd like to see in the next series of flight videos, and I'll make that happen. They should be vectoring us down from cruise altitude here rather shortly, and then things will get a little more interesting and a little more busy, so to speak. Looking at the instrument here, this top row of numbers that I'm circling with my mouse compulsively gives us a lot of information. We got about 6 minutes, 19 seconds until we reach our next nav aid. Doing 396 knots across the ground. We can see our fuel, everything from this screen here, and then if we pull this one up, we can see speed, altitude, heading. Got the artificial horizon in there, all that good stuff. We've also got distance to the next nav aid and our bearing. So, oh, we've also got 65 knot wind coming in from the right, so 65 knot crosswind. We'll fly with a 32 knot headwind, so if that was gone, we'd actually be going 32 knots faster here. Indicated airspeed would still read the same. All I gotta say is this is some pretty beautiful country, even on a flight sim. I could thank the Orbx packs for that. Throughout cruise, all of the systems and everything read fine. Not that I was expecting or anticipating any type of delay or emergency. Most of these aircraft have a little tiny time thing that I'm trying to find. So it's like, it's got how long we've flown the aircraft. I don't know where it's at though. Oh yeah. Alright, back in virtual cockpit, I guess. Once we get cleared for descent, we will turn on the passenger signs and ensure everyone's buckled up back there. We're carrying 5 passengers plus 2 pilots, total of 7 souls on board, with some luggage, of course, some luggage weight thrown in there. It's gonna be an interesting landing. Last time I checked the weather for our arrival airport, it was pretty good. Calm winds, I want to say around 7 knots, and clear skies. Here shortly we'll be turning to the right to start flying almost direct to the airport. Up here at 25,000 feet, everything looks small down there, guys. It's one thing I've learned in flying an airplane. It's we are a lot smaller in perspective than we imagine. Then again, everything's a lot smaller when you're cruising at about 400 knots, 25,000 feet in the air. Everything looks a little smaller. Few clouds in the area, nothing too significant. Looks like we got some mountains off to our right there. Clear skies ahead. Got about a minute before we cross this nav aid here. One thing I've noticed in this particular aircraft, I guess it could kind of be a complaint. We are nowhere near 550 nautical miles away from our destination. Nowhere near it. In fact, we're about 200 nautical miles away from our destination. I don't understand why it does that, but hey, I guess it's just something we'll have to deal with, huh? The other thing that's not quite right is these airspeed strips, tapes I believe they call them. Notice that my overspeed line is about 337 knots, whereas over here it's under 320, which is odd. And it says we're doing 319 on here, but 319 would technically be an overspeed up there. But anyway, that's a bit odd, but we'll go off the digital display here. It's been smooth air. Haven't hit any turbulence on the way or anything like that. We've been in really smooth, really cold air. So getting a flight plan here. We'll activate the next leg. All right.
Embraer, Alpha Mike Bravo, turn right heading 025.
025.
Turn right heading 025. Embraer, Alpha Mike Bravo.
Alright. He's making a right-hand turn. Oh boy, we're rocking with almost an 80 knot headwind now. Good Lord! We're going to be expecting runway 29er once we get down and everything's on final. We're going to expect runway 29er into Alaska Papa Alpha Kilo Tango Airport here. They consider it an international airport. However, it is not an international airport such as the bigger ones like Chicago O'Hare or even Seattle, Washington, like we departed from. It's got one runway, 7,000 feet in length, by 150 foot wide, I believe, is what the chart said. So when we land, we're going to kind of go to the end of the runway. That's where the next taxiway is. There is no...
Embraer, Alpha Mike Bravo, turn left heading 38. proceed on course.
There is no
Turn left.
turn offs or anything like that.
Phenom on navigation. Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo.
So we'll kind of just coast the airplane down to the end of the runway and slow it down and hit that last taxiway on the end. Not quite at Alaska yet. A little farther and we will be. According to our GPS moving map there, we're about 150 miles out. So in about 60 or 70 miles here, they're gonna be bringing us down. Bringing us down in a good way. Some haze in the area here. Let's take a look at our weather destination. Winds calm, no clouds, 10 plus statute miles of visibility. Should be a decent landing. When I checked the weather before the flight, we had some wind in the area, so our expected runway here may change, but we're still going to expect runway 29. Oh yeah? Negative 38 degrees Celsius up here. Man, that's cold. Not quite sure how fast they're going to bring us down to pattern altitude, but once we get about 30 to 50 miles away from the airport, we'll start thinking about landing configuration, getting some flaps down, landing gear down, things of that nature. When we cross 10,000 feet, we'll have to remember to turn our landing lights on and stay under 250 knots. So if we were below 10,000 feet right now, we would definitely be breaking some FAA rules and regulations, especially since we're doing 320.
Embraer, Alpha Mike Bravo, descend and maintain flight level 190. Descend and maintain flight level 190. Embraer, Alpha Mike Bravo.
First thing I want to do is bring the throttles back. We'll descend at 1,500 feet per minute. All the way down to 19,000. Got a little dirt strip right there on the coast. Can I zoom in on it, not the panel? Oh, it's not a dirt strip, it's concrete. Well, how about that? Well, hobo da. Yeah, we're moving on down to the airport. I can't make up lyrics in my head that well, so I'll not do that. Oh, I guess I could get us down a little faster here, huh? Let's bring the throttles back. Send it 2,500. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going down like a rocket, so please fasten your seatbelts. No smoking.
Embraer, Alpha Mike Bravo, you are 73 miles south, turn left heading 305. Expect vectors visual, runway 11, approach.
Alright.
Turn left
We'll be
heading
going on.
305. Expect vectors visual, runway 11, approach. Embraer, Alpha Mike Bravo.
We'll be landing on runway 11, not 29. The weather has changed since we last took off, which is fine. We'll be doing the visual for runway 11. Hopefully not too challenging. Hopefully I can keep it on the center line. I'm using this cheap, rickety old joystick that I got for $30 US for my international subscribers. And, well, let's just say I've had better. Increase them throttles back
Embraer,
up.
Alpha Mike Bravo, descend and maintain 12,000.
Just kidding, going down to 12,000 now.
Descend and maintain 12,000. Embraer, Alpha Mike Bravo.
Keep it 2,500 feet per minute descent rate. That seems fair. Get rid of that. Got about 1,000 pounds of fuel left, which is plenty for the remainder of this here flight. magic of simulation, we would have normally been able to ask the control tower our biometric pressure there, but since this is default ATC, there's a key command for that, so I went from 29902 to 3018. 340 on the heading.
Heading 340. Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo.
Heyo! I see land, mateys. Yes. Down to 12,000. Here we go. For the next descent, step down, or whatever you want to call it, for the next little descent phase, we are definitely going to have to get her under 250 knots.
118.5. Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo. Anchorage Center, Embraer Papa Alpha Mike Bravo is at 12,300, descending 12,000. Embraer Papa Alpha Mike Bravo, Anchorage Center, Roger, altimeter 3019er.
3019er now on the pressures. Altimeter pressure, biometric pressure, barometric pressure, something like that. Alright, they're going to be holding us at this altitude for a second, probably. We just want to stay right around 250 knots now to be ready for that transition under 10,000 feet. Alright, let's take a look at some of the scenery we see here. Yep, not a whole lot. Lots of water around us, but a little bit of land. There's more land that way. So what they're going to do here is, here's our little airplane. They're going to bring us up here, probably swing us out this way, and then back in and around. We got our airport right here. Let's see. Let's get the flight plan up. Activate this leg. And get rid of the flight plan. It's showing about 10 minutes till we reach our destination there. About 900 pounds of fuel left. That headwind kind of robbed us for fuel there, didn't it? We're just gonna fly fuel efficient here for the rest of this. We'll just easy on the throttle. I'm going to be coming down below 10,000 feet.
Bravo, turn left heading 305. Turn left heading 305. Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo. Mike Bravo, turn right heading 335.
Oh, pick a heading.
Turn right heading 335. Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo. Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo, descend and maintain 6,000. Descend and maintain
down to
6,000.
6.
Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo.
Alright, here's where we're going to keep it at about 1,500 feet per minute. And we're definitely going to be looking for under 250 knots. Once we cross 10,000 feet, we'll look up, get the landing lights on. The rest of our lights are good to go. I'll probably leave that on, just because it makes everything kind of a little easier to read. Landing lights on there. I'm looking down here reading the flap extension speeds and landing gear normal operation. So it looks like anything under 250 knots we could drop our gear. Once we reach about 180 knots we could start lowering flaps. 170 knots we can lower to 3. And then anything under 150 knots we can do full flaps. So we'll be referring to that little card there. I was reading that right there. Getting a little bit of turbulence. Quite normal at an altitude such as this. Alright, so far everything's looking good. Decent weather. Decent scenery. Maybe we'll do some bush flying around these parts before we actually leave and head on into Anchorage. Try to make this the most comfortable landing that I can. We'll see how that goes. They should be turning us right here very shortly. Hope they do it soon, because they're running us on about bingo fuel. I like to have landed with about 1,000 pounds, but I don't reckon that's gonna happen. A little bit of turbulence. Some light turbulence here.
Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo, descend and maintain 4,000.
On the floor.
Maintain 4,000. Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo. Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo, turn right heading 360.
Alrighty.
Turn right heading 360. Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo. Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo, turn right heading 025. Turn right heading 025. Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo.
Thousand feet to go here to 4,000 feet. Just gonna let the aircraft slow down slowly here. We're gonna be going up into this little valley area here to get to our airport. follow that little water trail right on up, hopefully. Get us lined up with the runway. I need to think about getting the speed down to about 180 knots here to lower some flaps. So we're just going to kind of let the aircraft relax down into that. Turn down some of the engine a little bit, slowly descend here.
Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo, turn right heading 055. Turn right heading 055. Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo. Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo, turn right heading 085.
Okay.
Turn right heading 085. Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo.
Alright, we're going to drop the gear down. That's going to shave off some speed there. Alright, there's 180. A little over 1 notch of flaps here. Increase that throttle so we're not slowing down like a bat out of hell. Wonder if they're going to step us down some more. Guys just witnessed me take a screenshot. Might take another one or two here in a minute. Let's get some more flaps down. To 3.
Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo, airport is 11 miles. Figure 1 o'clock, turn right heading 115, report runway in sight.
115, we'll report the runway, which is in sight.
Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo. Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo, runway in sight. Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo, you are 10 miles northwest. Descend and maintain 2,100. Clear visual, runway 11 approach. Switch to advisory on 122.905. Descend and maintain 2,100. Cleared visual, runway 11 approach. Advisory on 122.905. Embraer Alpha Mike Bravo.
Let's take a listen into ATIS.
Airport information, Alpha 19250, wind 291 at board. Visibility greater than 20 miles. Sky condition clear. Temperature -1, dew point -5. Altimeter 3023. Visual runway 11 in use. Landing and departing runway 11. VFR aircraft is
Alright. We are going to announce on
Kilo
final.
Tango, traffic, Embraer, Papa, Alpha, Mike, Bravo is on final, runway 11 to land.
Okay, time to cut the autopilot here. Got gear down, flaps full. And we've announced we are on final. Let's get this bird on the ground. Looking for about 110 knots on final here, so going a little fast. Cut some more power here. Intercept this glide slope and bring her down. Super calm winds, so she's gliding in pretty smooth right now. We're a little high. Hopefully by the time we get down to the runway that all changes.
$500.
500 feet. And we're still pretty high. Alright, I beamed the threshold there, so we'll cut the power, bring the nose up, and just glide the airplane onto the runway here. There we go, we have rear main wheels, front wheels, track that center line here, and apply the brakes gently. Now, there should be a turn off up here at the end of the runway. That will take right here to the left. Alright, we are clear of the runway. Let's take a moment here, bring the flaps up, turn off the landing lights and the strobes, and we'll announce we are clear of the runway.
Papa, Alpha, Kilo Tango, traffic, Embraer, Papa, Papa, Alpha, Mike, Bravo, is clear of the runway.
And we're going to bring this aircraft into a suitable parking spot. We'll shut her down, and that'll be the end of part 2, guys. Thanks for tuning in. As I mentioned in part 1, let me know what type of aircraft you want to see on the next little segment. Maybe we'll do some bush flying around here if that's what you guys want. Maybe we'll take it back in on up to Alaska. Let me know what kind of aircraft you guys want to see, and I'll make that happen. Looks like we got fueling over there. We don't want fueling. Alrighty, got a little turning up here we'll take for parking. Park somewhere in that region over there. Slow this beast down. Actually, that's the parking we'll take right up there, right next to the buildings. Yeah, right here. Kill the engines, taxi lights, nav lights, off. Excellent. Turn that off, that off. Ignition off. Windshields off, off. Closed, off. Off and off. Off with ye. Off with ye! Pull the oxygen out. And signs and belts off. Kill the batteries. Alright, guys. Welcome to Alaska. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Helps me out a lot. And I'll be looking forward to see what you guys want to see in the next flight series here. So might do some bush flying around here if I don't get any feedback, or might just take it on into Alaska. So we'll see. Stay tuned, guys. Thanks for watching.